I'm on a quest to get every single Final Fantasy Platinum trophy, and it's time to round off the NES games with Final Fantasy III. I start the game, change the font, name the characters correctly, fall down a hole, bonk some gobbos, and grab the first of many chests before knifing this turtle repeatedly. Now, I could use the Antarctic winds here to hit the boss's ice weakness like the game wants me to, but I need to save those for tougher fights ahead. I grab the first set of jobs for Hope of Wind, the first of many trophies in this game, and proceed to switch everyone to Monk. From there, I go back into the Altar Cave and grab the rest of the chests, head into find the first of 61 hidden items, the first time that these have been introduced to the series, and grab some hidden chests in this house and in the well. I also buy as many potions as I feasibly can. After resting for free, I move to Gazoos and grab everything I can there, moving through hidden passages to do so. There are a lot of these in the game as well that are not frustrating in any way, shape or form, I promise. I then head to Castle Sasane without realising that I haven't hit the story trigger yet. I head to the Western Tower, punch everything to death, sleep in the princess's bed in the Eastern Tower, the pervs, navigate more hidden passages for more goodies before heading back to Gazoos, talking to Cid for the aforementioned story trigger, getting the airship and heading to the Sealed Cave. Now, everything here is undead, which means healing items also damage them, so if my attacks are doing under 15, I can just chuck a potion at them. I grab 1/10 of the total chests for Rookie Treasure Hunter, however, I run into a problem. These zombies hit hard, and I stupidly let 2 of my monks die. I don't want to use a Phoenix down this early, so I run back to and revive everyone. Note to self, be more liberal with healing items. I return to the cave, touch the skull, recruit the princess, and don't tell her that I slept in her bed. Side note, unlike the 3D version of this game, the recruitable characters don't actually do anything other than hang around and give me hints on what to do next. I defeat my 100th enemy for Apprentice Warrior and take on the Djinn. I choose to punch through my problems instead of targeting his ice weakness, and I win anyway. Now you might be thinking, wow, that's the 3rd game in a row where monks are broken. And it's true for the early game, but this game has thought of that too, and things are about to change. I warp back to Castle Sasane, get the canoe from the king, head back to Gazoos, reunite with Cid, buy blizzards, fires and mithril rods for everyone, upgrade the airship, and take a detour into the mithril mines for more goodies. Then I smash into this rock, lose the airship, but get the Crushing Force trophy. I grab some more bestiary entries to hit the 10% mark for Field Research Basic and enter Canaan. I sell things that I know I'm definitely not going to use and get Thrifty Spender for earning 10,000 gil total. I find an elixir and hand it to Cid's wife to cure her and get rewarded with some chests by Cid, meaning that I finally have enough gil to buy 4 Thunders, so I make a move to Dragon's Peak. I go through there a bit too quickly and miss some bestiary entries, so I reload a save to go back. After doing so, I get Job Trainee for hitting job level 10, grab what I was missing, however Bahamut abducts me, I meet Desh, I run away from Bahamut, sort of, Ignis dies, but I get Mini from Desh and Desh himself. I turn Luneth into a white mage and everyone else into black mages. I then teach everyone fire, blizzard and thunder, and Luneth Mini as well. Then I head into the healing copes and restore everyone's MP, Mini everyone with Luneth, turn him back into a black mage, back row everyone, and head into Tozus. With everyone minied, my physical attacks will deal a grand total of 1 damage, even against miniature enemies, so it's time to rely on magic like it's Final Fantasy 1. I raid these shelves, unpoison this guy and take his stuff, go through his tunnel and make my way to Viking's Cove, where I buy some Maiden's Kisses to cure the Toad status and pick up some Aura spells in chests. I give one each to Luneth, Ark and Raphia. Sorry, Ignis. I acquire a ship, bump into the Nepto Dragon and run away. Now this looks super stupid, but I need to do this in order to pick up its very missable bestiary entry, the only one in the game where I don't need to win a battle against it. I then head into the Nepto Temple and mini my way through his eye socket. I freeze everything and anything with blizzards, then come face to face against the tiny giant rat. I throw all my Aura spells at him and then forget to turn auto battle off and accidentally do a round of 1 damage physical attacks. Nonetheless, I finish him off with some thunders, get the eye, insert it, get the first of 4 elemental fangs and sail off into the ocean. I tick off the Living Woods, which is a missable location, unmini my party and head to Golgan Gulch. I grab some nice mage stuff to power up Luneth's ice and Ark's fire damage respectively, and grab the Toad spell, which I once again teach to Luneth. I tag Castle Argus early to heal up, then backtrack to the Tower of Owen. I get the Fury encounter early, which is rare and only on the base floor, then toad the party to progress and untoad afterwards to be not awful in battle. Then I learn the lesson in the form of the Petit Mages, silencing my characters. And I have no access to Echo Herbs yet, so after grabbing its entry, I'll be fleeing those encounters from now on. At the top was Medusa, an enemy whose stare has a 1 in 3 chance of petrifying the target. I threw all my Aura spells at her, then when they ran out I threw my Thunders at her. She did petrify 1 member, but I got the last laugh in the end. Desh dies like it's Final Fantasy II and I get a Watchman's Duty. I also get access to a new sea area and new enemies to farm. After grabbing those, I go into the Dwarven Hollow and get mage robes for everyone. I toad my way to the subterranean lake, kill my 300th enemy, 4 experienced warrior, and make it to the end and take on Gutsko. He hits a bit hard, but my Aura spells hit harder. I use a high potion for safety, but I kill him on the same turn. Ah, what a waste. He can use mini allegedly, but I didn't see it. A white underscore follows me back, which turns out to be Gutsko, so I chase him to the Molten Cave, where everything is weak to ice, which is made obvious by all the Antarctic winds I pick up. Do I use them to take down the Ice Weak Salamander? Nope. I stick to my spell slinging strategy because I need to save the elemental items for an even later fight, which is when I discover I've made a terrible mistake. I didn't heal my black mages or restore their MP charges, and I wipe out in embarrassing fashion. Twice. So I limp back to the Dwarven Hollows, where I heal up and purchase 4 sets of ice armor and ice helms that black mages can't equip, then head back to the boss room and switch everyone to red mages, which I thought could equip the ice equipment, but it turns out my intel was wrong and red mages can't equip the ice armor, just the helms. Well, that was a waste of guilt, which I really need by the way, but Flame is now doing 70 to 100 damage to everyone instead of 150 to 200, and with the help of a few high potions and ice spells I whittled the salamander down. I get some new jobs and the Hope of Fire trophy and return to the Dwarven Hollow where someone falls over. Then after plundering all the chests here, switching back to the black mages, healing up and grabbing this magic key which counts as a hidden item for some reason, I head to Tokkul where I get bitch slapped into prison. I get mini from this guy who gets FF2'd, then mini my way into the dungeon where I quickly discover that maybe I should have brought more than 3 antidotes. I go into this room and run into the usually super rare Dullahan, and once I make sure I have all the missable chests and bestiary entries, I switch my party to scholars and take on Hein. I spam study until his barrier shift activates to change his weakness, and then once study reveals his new weakness, I use the scholar's alchemy ability, which doubles the potency of items, to spam the elemental item that Hein is weak to, in this case ice, and take him down in 1 rotation, earning the Fang of Wind. 2 down, 2 to go. With no MP available, I switch everyone back to Monk and then to Black Mages once I'm safe back in Tokkul. Except Tokkul has no healing area, so I loot it, switch everyone back to Monks again, and make my way to Castle Argus once more. I talk to the king for the Wheel of Time, then loot the castle. I switch Luneth to a thief so that I can open locked doors and grab all treasure that isn't nailed down, as well as these 2 elixirs from this white mage that counts as 1 hidden item for some reason. I switch back to black mages and heal everyone up, then head back to Sid in Karnan to turn the ship into an airship. I head to the south to pick up 3 new bestiary entries, once I remember to put everyone in the back row again that is, then this forest in the southeast for 5 more. I tag the Village of the Ancients and pick up all 1 of its hidden items, then head to Gisal, grab some magic keys, Gisal greens and buy a ton of magic keys as well so I don't have to constantly switch back to Thief in the future, and then sneak into this passage for the solitary Gisalian chest. Then I head off to the edge of the world into the actual world. What's that? Chocobo Woods? I have no idea what you're talking about. I head to the sunken ship, grab these 2 missable chests, save the girl, and bring her with me to the Temple of Water, grab this shard, and head to the Cave of Tides. Man, the cockatrices here look very different. With no treasure or items to pick up, I rush to the end, change everyone into scholars, and take on Kraken, who's weak to thunder, so I throw a truck ton of Zeus's Wraths at him for an easy win. Go back to FF1, buddy. Oh yeah, and Raphia fell over here, but no one cares. I get the water crystal jobs, Arya goes full FF2, and the whole world reveals itself. I end up in a bed in Amur with no way back to the ocean as the ship is chained up, but we got Hope of Water, so hooray. I switch everyone to the newly acquired black belt job, put them in the front row, grab all the hidden items, buy some cool black belt stuff, then head into the sewers. Now, black belts have 2 modes, kick for groups of enemies and focus for bosses. And with these 2 modes, I'm about to make a lot of things super miserable. I save these 4 idiots, then the 4 idiots save me from some deadly shoes? No, me neither. Anyway, I get the real shoes I'm after and head into the overworld. Turns out the Black Flans here know bad breath, which is obviously super annoying. And the Vulcan is desperate to not be found, but I tracked that mother trucker down eventually. Next stop, Goldor Manor. I pick up way more golden swords than I need and wyvern claws. I get Legendary Warrior for defeating my 500th enemy and Smart Saver for accumulating 100,000 guild total. Then it's time for Goldor. I use boost on all 4 black belts, then have all 4 attack for double damage. And fall short somehow. That wasn't in the script. So I attack with everyone and 1 attack does it. Low roll city, I guess. Goldor transforms into a key and I can fly again. During a back attack, I discover that kick does the same damage whether it was in the front or back row. I find what I think is the rare sea dragon, but it isn't, and this nearly derailed my entire playthrough. I then grab some hidden items and geomancer equipment in Duster, financed by all the treasure that I picked up and will not be using. Expensive? Yeah, absolutely, but oh so important for other things later on. Then I made moves to Repleto, where I bought the first 5 of 8 summon spells and pinched some hidden items as well. Time to fly to Saronia, where I get mercilessly shot down. No more Enterprise. Womp womp. Saronia has 4 districts and I head to the southwest one first, where I save Prince Alice from certain death. I think. I grab a year's supply of Giselle Greens and some cool equipment from these old duddies now that I have a prince with me. Then I head to southeast Saronia and its dragon spire full of petrifying Kotobla passes. These would be a problem if I hadn't bought lots of gold needles for this very reason. I get Veteran Treasure Hunter for hitting the halfway mark for chests, and get the hint that maybe I should be switching to Dragoons at this point. I then go to northeast Saronia and get my Dragoons Wind Spears for extra damage and pick up this elixir, and northwest Saronia just to tag it. By the way, I'm using jump instead of attack with Dragoons for job level grinding purposes. Job levels go up after a set amount of actions and jump counts as 2 actions, 1 for going up, 1 for coming down. Great for avoiding damage as well, and this also means that I won't need to heal as often. I head into the castle and skewer Garuda with 8 wind spears, then pillage the castle for all it's worth, grab the Nautilus airship and a peaceful Saronia. I make my way to the Dalg continent and hit the 50% mark of bestiary entries for Field Research Advanced. I head to Doga's Manor, where I see Moogles for the first time in the series. I also meet Doga, Minnie, and switch everyone to Geomancer and enter the Cave of the Circle. Geomancers have an ability called Terrain, using a random magical ability to do a ton of magic damage, and this will deal with all the enemies in here. Random? Yeah, sort of, but every possible ability is viable in here. I get to the end, and now the Nautilus doubles up as a submarine. I unmini everyone and switch them back to Dragoons, and then start exploring with my new toy. There's encounters underwater in this game as well, and the Charybdis took a bit longer to find than I would have liked. Once the new bestiary entries are out of the way, I dive under and up to Doga's village just to tag it and go to the Temple of Time, where everything hits me super hard and I wipe out. Okay, so I'm slightly underleveled, but the good news is that the enemies here give a lot of experience, and there's some really good equipment here as well to boost my defenses. I take far too long to find a behemoth, but the pterodactyl takes 5 seconds to find in the loot room. I grab Noah's loot and fly to Une's cave and shred a sick riff to wake her up for waking from dreamland. Une joins the party and gives me the Fang of Fire. 3 down, 1 to go. I then head to another optional dungeon, the Sunken Cave, for more goodies, where I make a very quick realization that the enemies here are weaker than the ones in the Temple of Time, and that I may or may not have made a bit of mistake here in terms of my sequencing. I grab all the items in here, including my first Blood Lance, by far the most important weapon of the game. Similar to the Blood Sword in Final Fantasy II, it will heal me for half the damage I deal with it by either attacking or jumping, so healing is about to get even easier. After that, I check the bestiary and realise that I didn't get the Sea Dragon after all, and with no more access to the ocean, I need to find it in the rivers, where it's super rare. A monumental cock-up does not begin to describe it, but I get it in 5 minutes, which makes me one very lucky man. Next stop, the ancient ruins, where enemies have the hilarious ability to divide themselves if not one shot. I buy blood lances for everyone, get money bags for accumulating 500,000 gil, and then make the terrible mistake of attacking a zombie dragon with said blood lances, which instead heals the zombie and damages me, so I wipe out again. I really should have known better. I eventually make it through the maze and find the Invincible, complete with shops and everything. New airship also means new places to explore. First stop, Falgabard. I beat the shinobi for a weapon I'll never use, then after grabbing the hidden items I enter Falgabard Cave, home of more splitting enemies. Hooray! After pillaging the cave, it's time for my next destination, the Cave of Shadows, which is also full of splitting enemies, as well as hidden passages and ninjas that aren't great at living, but they do give me weapons that I don't use, so thanks I guess. Oh yeah, and the hidden passages have hidden staircases, because of course they do. My Dragoons jumped so much that I hit job level 50 for Senior Worker, and then I proceed to dunk on Hecatoncheir repeatedly with Blood Lances. Unlucky bud. I get the final Fang, the Fang of Earth, and then grab the Nautilus and head to the Saronia Catacombs for the first optional boss of the run. Yes, I should have done this before I got the Invincible, shut up. Nothing too hard about this because I'm kinda over leveled for this area, and for some reason there's a secret room with 8 monster chests that are laughably easy. Then I find Odin and jump over his Zantetsukuns easily. Well, mostly, god damn it Raphia. But I get the 6th of 8 summons and move on. I head back to the floating continent and zoom over to Lake Dor and get eaten again, just like Final Fantasy II. I sense a recurring theme here. There's a ton of chests here, as well as enemies that hit hard and die harder. As for Leviathan himself, his tsunami deals a ton of damage, but my blood lances hurt him bigly and heal me biglier, and down he goes. This is a one-time location with enemies that only appear here, and Remoras just chose to not show up for far too long. Well, I already have 7 summons, might as well grab the last one at his lair. I make my way through, then head outside and take on the big man himself. Dragoon's Jump does extra damage to dragons, and guess what Bahamut is? With all 8 summon magics acquired, I teach them to Ignis for Summon Master. Remember the Chocobo Woods that I dismissed out of hand earlier? Well, my plan all along was to grab all 13 locations in one go to guarantee that I won't miss them. That's 3 on the floating continent and 10 on the world map. After that world tour, I use the 4 fangs to destroy all 4 statues, and then head into the Ancient's Maze for the first time and dunk on Titan. Basically a reskinned Hecatoncheir if I'm really being honest, but he does hit unreasonably hard. However, I have the damage and sustain to get through unscathed, and I get the Earth Crystals jobs for Hope of the Earth. With that done, I need to go back to Doga's Manor and enter his grotto, which I can only do with the Nautilus, so I have to go back to it with the Invincible and switch over, which is irritating. It's also a one-time area, so once I make sure I have all the chests and bestiary entries, the Cyclops being the most irritating one to find, I give Doga the Dragoon treatment and Une suffers the same fate, and I get the Circus and Eureka keys. I grab the Invincible once more and head back to the Ancient's Maze. I get quite lucky and grab the rare Aeon encounter in a non-wooded patch just outside the entrance, and then head in. The King Behemoth is one of the rarest encounters in the entire game, so of course I got it on the 4th battle here. I also make sure to take out my Blood Lances when the Bone Dragon appears, since it's undead, you know, fool me once and all that. Except when I saw a Bone Dragon the second time, I was on autopilot and bonked the auto battle button. One shameful party wipe later, and I had to do the whole floor again. I did eventually make it out though, and go through the Crystal Tower to reach the land of Eureka. Here there are 5 legendary weapons that I need to grab, each guarded by a boss. No matter who it is though, the strategy is the same. Jump. Kunoichi has Iroga, which can irritatingly one-shot anyone, but she didn't really use it when one of my Dragoons was exposed. Beating Scylla got me the Ninja and Sage jobs, and Guardian gave me Dragoon level 99 for Management Labourer, as well as Ragnarok, my final hidden item for Item Detector, as well as the 5th and final Eureka weapon for Forbidden Weapons. I get some crystal gear from this hidden shop for everyone, then Ultra Shroom and begin my final ascent up the Crystal Tower. Cum-Cums are death spammers, which I counter by having a gazillion Phoenix Downs. I use the circus key and then get to the 5th floor and the first rare enemy of the area, the Yellow Dragon, which only appears on this floor. And it kicks my ass. The second try goes a little bit better, only 2 dead at the end of it all. Same with the Green Dragon on the 6th floor, and only 1 survived the Red Dragon fight on the 7th. But for those of us who are good at maths, 1 is more than 0, so it counts. After some Deus Ex Machina BS, also Desh isn't dead. It's time to face Xande. Despite Luneth stumbling over, Bloodlance jumps are more than enough to defeat this guy. The Cloud of Darkness appears and obliterates me, but even more Deus Machina BS leads me to the final dungeon, the World of Darkness. I get Adventurous Wayfarer for finding all the locations, and Enter the Darkness for getting this far. There's 4 sections here, each one has a chest guarded by Xande's clone with a ribbon inside, and a mini-boss guarding a crystal. Cerberus has a lot of HP but can't outdamage my sustain. Two-Headed Dragon, however, does way too much damage for me to stop him first time around with some deadly crits, so I need a plan B. You know, once I try plan A 4 or 5 more times. I switch Luneth to Devout and equip him with Golem Staves that I've picked up in treasure chests, and then get him to hit himself repeatedly until he is petrified. Once that's done, I return to the Two-Headed Dragon fight. The beauty of what I've just done is that even though Luneth is petrified, he's still targetable, which means that whenever an enemy wants to use a single target attack whilst everyone else is up in the air, the attack has to target Luneth, so everyone can come back down safely. Yes, sometimes my guys get KO'd before they could be up in the air, but it's a risk well worth taking and the bastard goes down. Oh, and Luneth still gets experience, by the way. With this petrification, it's very important as well that I don't touch the Dark Crystals and heal status ailments by mistake. I can just heal up with elixirs at this point, I have tons of them. Ahriman is a bit of a casino because if he chooses to do back-to-back multi-target attacks, I could theoretically die, but that doesn't happen. I get the final ribbon chest, which is also the final chest in the whole game, for Legendary Treasure Hunter. Something else that I didn't mention is that for all boss fights except the Two-Headed Dragon, I'm rocking ribbons and protect mages, since that maximizes magic defense over the crystal stuff. Anyway, down goes Echidna, then all that's left to do is find 2 rare enemies in the final room, Hydra and Twin Dragon, during which I finally hit level 50 on everyone for Seasoned Hero, before taking on the Cloud of Darkness, and all she does is spam Particle Beam and the occasional physical attack. The only thing that can kill me is back-to-back particle beams, which unfortunately happens multiple times, and I hang on as best as I could first time round, but it just doesn't happen. Now, I acknowledge this strat reduces the game to a casino, but I just find it hilarious that the game can be reduced to this in the first place. The second time it does go much better. The Cloud of Darkness does kill off 2 of my 3 Dragoons towards the end, but the third one hangs in there and gets the job done. I get Field Research Advanced for completing the Bestiary, a Vision of Hope for completing the game, and the Master of 3 Platinum Trophy. Thanks for watching, see you next time for Final Fantasy IV.